Luka.
How we doing?
Big trade, obviously, with Cat leaving. I mean, that does change the front court as well. Just what are your overall thoughts when you heard that go down, and everything that Cat's kind of meant for you here, and
Yeah.
then how it shapes up for you?
Yeah, first, I mean, Cat's obviously been a brother to everybody in this locker room, and he's been, for me, such a tremendous person to be around. Not only just basketball player, but human being. I think we all know how genuine and kind he is in that regard. But as a basketball player, I feel like the confidence that he was able to instill in me from, seeing my game and the respect he had for it, and just, kind of being able to talk to me, when I was out there or whatever the case may be, to kind of keep me going. He always really supported me and helped me, and I think gave me a lot of good advice. And for me, as a guy in this league, being around one of the best big man shooters, and I'm a guy who kind of, sees myself as one of those guys who can shoot the ball, and obviously is a, kind of 4 or 5 position. It definitely was a really great experience to be able to share the floor with him and share the locker rooms with him. Obviously, we're that this is a business, and we know that, and obviously we got some talent coming in, and we're very excited about those guys. And I think they're really going to help our team, help our locker room. I'm excited to get to work with them and see how we can make this thing work. And as for myself, obviously, when you lose a center and you're looking at the depth chart, that means, possible more opportunities that could come my way. For me, that's, since I got here, I've always been about staying ready for any opportunity that comes my way. So regardless, I know I've been working this summer, and I feel very confident going into this year. If my name is called, that I'll be able to go out there and step up and contribute.
For last year especially, I mean, when you're preparing yourselves for those opportunities, you're looking at it and saying, man, there's not just one guy ahead, there's 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right ahead of you. Like, how did you sort of deal with that in the moment, and understanding what it would take for those chances to come, and like what happens now here going forward with maybe just a little bit different configuration?
For sure. I mean, I always have the mindset to be prepared to play, because you never know what can happen. And, obviously in past years, there's been opportunities that kind of came out of nowhere for me. Even this, this recent year with games like, when we played in LA against the Lakers, I didn't know till, 40 minutes on clock that I was going to play that night. So, always kind of have to be ready when you're sitting there. But, for me, I try to always change my mindset based on the situation. I knew last year and in these last couple of years that, for me, I'm around all these great big men, and I got to learn. And I got to learn how they approach the game. I got to learn how they make, how they work in Finch's system, how they go out there and contribute and help this team, and try to replicate that when I do get an opportunity. But obviously this year, that kicks into another gear with, those opportunities being closer around the corner than they were in the past. So, I know I have to stay ready at all times, and that's always been part of my job description.
You've gotten positive reinforcement that they believe in you and what you're doing, basically from the fact that you're still here. But what is it like putting in the work every day and knowing that you're doing the right things, knowing they know you're doing the right things these last couple of years, and knowing that it's probably not going to lead in those 2 seasons 2 minutes? Like, what kind of was the motivation to keep going, keep improving, keep working?
Yeah, I mean, I love the game of basketball, so that's always my motivation is my love for it. I want to improve, and I want to get better, because that's what I feel like I was kind of meant to do is be a basketball player and improve as much as I can. And I just look at things in my life, and especially with basketball, is I don't ever want to look back and say I didn't do everything I could to make it. So, regardless of my situation, I know every single day I have to come in with that mindset and prepare and work like I am going to, see minutes, and have that faith and that belief. And, obviously it gets hard at different points when, you don't, see the opportunities coming, and, you feel like you prepared and you're ready for them. But, you can't let that don't go weary in doing good. So that's kind of my mindset, and that's always has been. So obviously I'm excited for this upcoming season with the thought that, opportunities are closer than, they were before. But the mindset stays the same with the way I work and approach the game.
Luka, just kind of like broadly curious your perspective on just how the big man position has evolved even over these maybe last 10 years, but then to going so much smaller. And then you guys have success with one of the biggest teams of the last decade. Like, just as a big man yourself, like, how have you kind of seen that arc, and then mapped your own kind of career around that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's obviously continuing to change, and all it takes is certain guys to play well, and then it does change, and you kind of see that happen as the Jokic's and Beads of the world kind of started arising, and now we're kind of going more towards having big men on the floor, and then when you had Draymond Green at the 5, during those years, that became a prominent thing. So it's always shifting, it's always changing, but I think there's so much room and opportunity as a 5 to impact the game, especially on the offensive end. Just when you see guys that can handle the ball, that can really pass, and the Isaiah Hardensteins of the world that get teams into actions, and it's really from their center, and that kind of obviously with Draymond being a pioneer in kind of that way of delay offense and stuff like that. So I think as a big, you have to be skilled in everything. You got to be able to do a little bit of everything. I kind of pride myself on being one of those guys who can do those things. And obviously defensively, there's so many different things that you can do. So many different pick and roll coverages, whether it's a drop or switching, or kind of being in a high wall, or blitzing and different things. There's different situations. So for me, that gives me confidence that no matter what your kind of game is, if you play well enough in your opportunity, they'll find a way to put you out there, because the game can shift and adjust and move towards whatever's out there, because we've seen so many different examples of different types of big men.
You still feel most comfortable playing up?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I do feel really comfortable playing up. I've obviously my first year here was more of that coverage than anything else. Last year was more of the drop, just because we kind of shifted to more of a drop team as a whole, and even putting Nas in drops most of the time and stuff like that. So I'm very comfortable in both, and we'll see what kind of is in coach's mind in terms of this year. And I've always worked and prepared myself in both. I definitely have worked on my hands and stuff like that, because there's you see the guys like Jokic, who are among some of the best in pick and roll situations as a 5, and that's obviously not because of the way he jumps or protects the rim, but with his hands and disrupting the point guard, and getting his hands on those passes or the lobs or whatever before they even get there. That kind of helps with not having that ability to go meet someone at that the peak.
To piggyback off of Jace, you had a stellar college career, didn't really find a spot in the NBA for a little while. Like he was saying, working so hard to not really get the opportunities. What advice would you have for like a Terrence Shannon, who had, a stellar 5 years in Illinois, or even Dillingham, of just kind of keeping that pace and, keeping their head kind of eye on the prize?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is, definitely not talked about as much, and, especially when you have guys that have that kind of college career, and you would assume there's like, the confidence that comes with that, is keeping that confidence. There's a lot of noise in the NBA through the whatever it is, in media or whatever, but a lot of it's, in your own head, and, keeping that confidence of knowing what you have done and have accomplished, and the confidence in your work that it took to do that, but also your ability to do it at this level as well. And that's something that, I think, especially during my rookie year, I struggle with, is having that, confidence when I go out on the court. And I think now I've come to a place where I understand my game. I'm always working on it and trying to improve it, but I feel very confident. And you almost have to be a little delusional in your confidence in yourself to be able to be successful. And I think that's what I've seen in my years here. The guys who had that kind of mindset, when I first got here, that was Nas, and I was, out of this situation. I'd seen him play, not as much and as, any at being here, but, kind of seeing him every day, I knew he was really good, but he had this just innate confidence he should be on the floor all the time. And when he got his opportunity, he showed everybody why he thought that, and then now you don't want to take him off the floor. And I think that taught me a lot, and it's how everyone has to be in this league, because no one's going to fight for you besides yourself, and the guys that go out there and go get it, and especially in those situations where you're not top 5 pick who's handed the keys right away. You kind of have to earn it, which is both the case for Rob and Terrence, and obviously myself. You kind of have to have that confidence.
So kind of along those lines, when you got here, you had to win a two-way spot, and then you worked your way up to now NBA contracts. What is maybe it say about you or your relationship with this organization that they have had you here for as long as they have? They've giving you this contract, and what is it about maybe your work ethic that just meshes well with this team and this culture?
Yeah, no, I think what you just said about the culture was what fit the most. And I could tell as soon as I got here, even though I was obviously not in the best position, coming off not my best summer league and being on the Exhibit 10 contract, and I knew I had to make the team, but I felt like this team was. This culture, this organization was something I wanted to be a part of, and I felt like I fit really well into, and especially with Coach Finch's, kind of system and the way he looks at, the game, and obviously his offense. I felt like I was a perfect fit for that. So, when the flashback to then was just kind of showing everybody that I really did belong with this team, and they gave me the opportunity and have continued to reward me as I continue to work and earn those kind of situations, and I'm very thankful to be here, and I love coming into work every single day with every one of those guys, and the coaches, the front office, whatever it is, I've loved every single second of it, and even in those situations where I'm not playing and I could be frustrated with my own opportunity, it's just the people in this organization is what I love, and I obviously love the city of Minnesota and the fans and all that stuff as well, and so it's been a really, really seamless fit since I got here, and I'm continuing to work and improve and earn more opportunities and earn more contracts or whatever it is, and I think it's been kind of really goes along with my journey of having to earn everything, and that's how I want it, and that's what kind of pushes me to have that mindset every single day, and so it's been awesome. I'm looking forward to continuing to be here in Minnesota. Yeah.